the images of the film itself, I was hoping would recontextualize some of the relationships that we take for granted between institutions and ourselves and the greater social framework. So my hope was mostly for the people who may be quite caught up within their habitual patterns to be really like jarred out of that with a strong punch to the solar plexus to get their own will out and moving into the world. Overall, the film was a fine line between being accessible enough to a general audience, because I didn't want to preach to the choir, and also calibrating it for truth in a way, without beating people over the heads. Other symbols are, the cube, the red cube, the six-sided cube.
Yeah.
Some people have noted there are many synchronistic alignments to that six-sided cube. The cube, in a very broad way speaking, is narratives and interpretations of events, of our reality, of the way of being in this world, can, in my opinion, be traced, and there's a strong argument to be made now that many narratives are manufactured. To what end? Sometimes we can guess, other times we know to what end. And then the mask, of course, is the social persona. It's as I mentioned earlier, it's something that's constructed as a way to buffer the anxiety of the world, the threat of the world, and our misconceptions about it, our distorted perceptions of its rules and laws, and what we need to be safe, to feel loved, to either get love, validation, all those primal elements required for sustenance and being here spiritually, emotionally, just mentally. And so the mask is this buffer which hides our true self, and our true self many times, that lower aspect of us, the shadow aspect. There's pain, deep pain, discomfort, sadness, all kinds of things that can be masked by a well-curated image. And this well-curated image and there's a scene in the film in a way which this couple advertises this on the screen, advertises the mask, and it kind of comes on to the first man. There are many types of masks that are advertised, whether it's intentional or not, they are. And those masks are available for our purchase, so to speak, embodying those masks. And they're extremely limiting because they're closed circuits. They allow certain types of behavior, and they require a certain kind of feedback. They seek success, and that success is, am I validated? And they constantly need to be fed. The other thing that comes to mind, there's a lot of other symbolism, but the other thing that's a running theme is the dark sort of cloud that comes through the bodies. And all of these images were designed in a way to evoke feelings and emotions. And so the dark cloud itself is just that. It came from my own feeling and emotions of observing and feeling myself and feeling that in others. And it's almost this rot, this putrefaction of inner repression, of disowning the shadow, disowning that which is deformed and doesn't work, which really is crying out to be untangled and brought to light so that health, vitality, and life can truly flow through and create higher order. So that dark gunk is the putrefaction of all that, and it just indicates heavy suppression of shadow, heavy unconsciousness. Some of the symbolism that I use, the symbols, the suits, that's a cliche way of expressing a certain type of occupation in our world. So I wish I had found a more elegant way to describe that, but other symbols are, yes, the eyes being closed, and I think that works subconsciously on the psyche of going through all these individuals whose eyes are either in shadow, presumably closed, or are actually closed. To that, I think the ecosystem of power control is complex, and I'm not sure anyone's done a great intricate job in explaining it and diving deep into it, because a lot of the intellectual sphere looks down upon alternate theories that may be a bit too far away from what's deemed acceptable within their spheres. And I find that unfortunately that really impedes progress in excavating the reality of the situation. I do see a certain concentrated interest with certain goals, certain outcomes steadily, at the very least throughout the 20th century. For that sort of, for that to really sink in, there are leaked think tank papers. There are a lot of legitimate resources out there which can really show us the intentions and the coherent shaping of society in a certain way, in a certain direction. Now, I don't like blaming those powers. I just want to recognize that they are there, and that I believe they're unconscious to a large degree. I feel that they're running many programs, and in a way it's their imperative. Once they get connected to the momentum of their in-group, I believe that these sort of tendencies get propagated.